I'm back. I have 2 mugs of tea. This is on a good day as well. 2 mugs of tea. And they're both really old. When was this morning? I don't even know. Will I probably go make another one? I will. This is on a good day. On a good day, I have 2 mugs of tea on my desk. It's a ritual at this point. Fuck. There we go. I think we're feeling blue today. Let me just pick out a hoodie. Hello. I know I'm not looking my best, but I wanted to film this video. Bitch. This is definitely gonna be a bit late. I don't know. What's the date today? The way I don't even know, it's a bit worrying. We're the 5th of March. So I don't know when this video will come out. I'm gonna try and edit it as fast as possible. I literally have a mock exam next Friday, but it's okay. I have the Euphoria song stuck in my head. Anyways, I read, Jesus, the amount of tabs. Listen, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that, okay? 6 books, which is less than last month, but honestly, I don't really care. It's fine. 6 books is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. February, the month of love, or kind of, I don't know. I did read a lot of romance this month. I've literally restarted this 5 fucking times. I have my siblings downstairs. What's happening down there? No. It's not that time. You literally had breakfast like half an hour ago, Gabriel. Don't be a pig. Anywho, look at my king of bookmarks. I don't know what y'all use for bookmarks, but let me just go through real quick. Literally a piece of plastic. I have an actually nice metal one. Photos of me and my dad. I have loads of bus cards. Bookmarks of the restaurant. Of the bookshop that I go to. A bookmark that my sister made me. Look how cute. Those are my bookmarks. That was really random. Doesn't matter. Current reads. I have If We Were Villained. Now, I'm on page 52, and I'm not going to go too much into it because it will be in my March wrap-up, because I do want to do one of those because I'm enjoying these wrap-ups. Even if I don't upload every week, I'll at least upload once a month. You can expect that from me. I can do that much. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but I'm on page 50, and the atmosphere and the writing is pretty good. I've kind of been in a book slump since A Court of Wings and Ruin. A book slump where I can read, but just not as much, or not, I don't really enjoy the books as much as I think I would. Do you know what I mean? It's like diluted a little bit, but so far it's good. And then on my phone, so ebook, I'm reading You Deserve Each Other, which I don't know if I'm going to definitely be reading a lot. I think I'll definitely be reading my like physical book more. I think I'm going to take a break from romances a little bit because I read a lot of romance this month, and I'm kind of like, I don't know what I'll be reading in March. I don't really have any ideas because I have so many books to read. Book that I bought recently, The Inheritance Games. I'm also disappointed there wasn't the green cover. It's okay, me too. Have you seen that cover? It's fucking gorgeous. I love it so much. What I think that I'm gonna do is that I bought it, and if I love it, I will sell this one and get a nicer version, but otherwise I'll just end up selling this. I have like a pile of books that I want to sell that's just sitting up there, but because I live in France, it's like, who the fuck are you gonna sell them to? Those are my current reads and recently bought. Now, finally getting into what I read. First book I read, which more between January and February, was A Court of Mist and Fury. I haven't picked up this book in a while. I have ranted and talked about this book so much on my Instagram story, and to literally like everyone I know. Not because it's amazing, just because this whole series has just got me so like torn. I'm like, do I love it? Do I absolutely fucking hate it? Like, I'm just... There was an attempt at plot, but it just wasn't there for me. Like, I wasn't invested in the plot. There were some parts that were genuinely boring. I was like, if you asked me what the plot was, I could not tell you. I really could not.
I understand Spanish to a certain level.
¿Cuántos años tienes?
Oh, London?
Literally made me fall in love with Rice, though. I'm whipped. I love him so much. So much. Except I read the novella recently, and he's so horny in that one. I'm like...
Oh my god, corny, lame, boo, tomato, I'm throwing tomatoes.
Why? Just calm your tits, bro. The flirting and banter in this, that's like all of these tabs. I have never tabbed a book so much, I don't think. Look at my tabs, they're so cute. So purple is like wholesome or cute. Green is like flirtatious and dirty. And you know, the little green ones, if those are flirtatious and dirty, then the big green ones are smart. Anyways, slow paced at times, I thought. But yeah, the slow burn and romance, I waited, what was it, like 600 pages for something to happen, and it happened. It happened. There was the one bad trope. So freaking happy. I kind of forgot half the shit because I feel like it was so long ago. It was literally a month ago, but because I read it so fast. But yeah, no, I definitely did a lot of sticky notes to understand what the fuck was happening. It's definitely the best out of the 4 that I've read so far. I wouldn't be like, oh my god, you have to read this series. It's entertaining as hell. I think that the right stand in this book is my favorite. He is. I watched Read with Cindy's videos on Akotar and I really love them. They're so funny. Jesus Christ, I was pissing myself laughing. Hesitating on whether to read A Chord of Silver Flames like right now, even though I just finished the novella, because I don't know if I have the energy. The novella was... I'm just gonna mention it, it was shit.
I'll be right back. Can I get you anything?
A gun.
Yeah, so I don't know if I have the energy to read A Chord of Silver Flames because it's 800 pages and I'm not that invested in Nesta and Caspian, like enough, but not that much. Then I went ahead and read A Chord of Wings and Ruin. So this one's definitely like more serious. There's more going on about war. I love when I can be invested in the plot and the relationship and the characters, you know what I mean? Whereas here it's like, yeah, there's a relationship and yeah, I love the characters, but it's like there's no plot, so it just doesn't have me there. I mean, there is plot, you're just not invested, you know, because it was, the build up to it was so shit in this, you're like, I don't really, I mean, I care, but not really, if that makes sense. I was struggling to get through this one, to be fair. Very strong female characters though. Nesta, Elaine, Moore, love her. Not as much as romance and banter and flirting, which I get obviously because it's the war, so it's not gonna be as fun and flirtatious and shit. But I kind of like that dynamic more, which is why I preferred A Court of Mist and Fury for sure. It was okay. LGBTQ characters get introduced in this, and it's not like outright like, oh, they're gay, because they kind of like don't care and go past it like, oh yeah, so and so had a husband, whatever. But it did feel a bit forced, which I didn't really like. Like it felt like she was just trying to like put them in there because it was like, oh shit, we need to put some gay representation. I was a bit iffy on that. I don't know. But somebody comes out in this book and I was like, yay, but at the same time I was like, it's so random. The fighting scenes were really graphic. I was like, okay, get it, I guess. So what the fuck? Like, I read graphic crap, but I'm not really into like gore and stuff, so I don't know how I made it through this whole series, but it's not that bad to be fair. Here's the thing, here's the fucking myth of this series. Like, I swear, this is the rumor that everyone's getting wrong, is that this shit's so smutty, it's so dirty. There was literally, if I'm looking at the big green tabs, 3 smut scenes, not even. Y'all, and then in A Court of Mist and Fury, there's literally 2. There's 2. And everyone's like, oh my god, it's known for being smutty and there's 2 smut scenes. That just bugs me because I went into it being like, and I was like, girl, there's literally nothing here. Also, the mate thing, like, oh, you're my mate, but that bugs me. It's so cringy. I don't want to look that. I hate it. Go away. Like, I love Rysam, but whenever he puts mate at the end of a sentence, or they're like, my mate, you're my... Nobody wants to hear that. I just read it in an Australian accent, which doesn't help because sometimes they'd be saying it during a smut scene, and I'd be like, oh my god, steamy, and then he's like, mate, and I'm like, no. That was such a bad accent, by the way. My chair is creaking. It's really annoying. Next, I read The Love Hypothesis. Yay! I have a whole video on this one, so I'm really not going to say much. I think I gave this one a 4 stars, but again, I'm in a reading slump, so it was a fun read. I liked the chemistry. What else did I say? Very funny, good main character. I actually loved her. I thought she was cool. It's definitely Grumpy and Sunshine. I mean, everyone's probably already read this before, so, you know. The smut scene?
That damn bitch!
It just felt out of place. There was 25 pages of smut. That shit was hard to read. I had whole reactions on my other video. It didn't feel like it belonged there. I was like, the characters were not themselves as well. It was like you took 2 completely different characters just with the same names and put them in the smut scene. And I was like, or maybe they were just completely different when they, or maybe they're just completely different when they fuck. I don't fucking know. I wasn't super happy when they finally kissed. Like, there wasn't that, oh my god. It was more like, okay. There's something about the fake dating one. If they fake kiss multiple times before, the real kiss isn't as good for some reason. But yeah, that was just me. But it was a good read. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I read that one on the run up to Valentine's Day, I believe. And then I read again on Valentine's Day, November 9th. Basically, these two people meet on November 9th, and then they agree to meet up every November 9th for like however many years, and they can't use social media or text each other or whatever. And basically these two fall madly in love, but they only get to see each other one day a year because this bitch met him on the day where she's like moving to New York. I love the premise of this book. The concept, amazing. I only tapped a couple things, but I definitely, oh Jesus, my computer. I definitely highlighted a lot of stuff. Colleen Hoover books are just, I don't even care that I'm being a basic bitch, but they're so good. One of the few romance books that I like to own because I actually tab shit and there's quotes that I love. But there's a recurring theme with the men in Colleen Hoover books that I've noticed where they're always hiding something, or they know the girl before somehow. I've seen it before. Ben, I love Colleen Hoover's men characters that she writes. They're just chef's kiss. I really love this one. I finished it in like 2 days as well. Colleen Hoover books be making me stay up till 4 a.m. I finished Colleen Hoover books in 1 or 2 sittings. That was the last. So tired. Then I went into 2 ebooks. So I went from reading fantasy to smutty romance. No, smutty fantasy to romance to Black Lives Matter book to a rom-com. Like, I don't know what was happening. Then I read The Hate You Give. So The Hate You Give, I had to read it for English class for a podcast that we were doing on the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was hyped to read this book. I was like, yes, I want to read this book because I watched the movie. I would have totally read the book before watching the movie, but I didn't know it was a book before, which is stupid, but it's fine. And so she was like, okay, you need to read this book. Now, The Hate You Give was good. Again, I was in a book sub, but I feel like it was just the fact of it being a book for school that was like hanging over my head that made me not want to read it as much. Like I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to pick it up. Do you know what I mean? Like I would read it because it was on my phone, but it was just like, there wasn't as much energy there. It's just that when you need to read something for school, I feel like all the fun just gets sucked out of it sometimes. Sometimes it's fine because it's not a big deal. Sometimes it's like, oh no, you have to read this book, you need to do this and this and this and your project. Like it just takes away from it a little bit. Why are you whinging? What's wrong? I'm back. Girl, I was supposed to leave to go give it to my siblings, and then I was like, I'm just gonna make some tea. Hot. Okay. The Hate You Give is basically about this young black girl named Star, and she witnesses her friend getting shot by a white cop in their car on the way back from a party. It's basically about her dealing with grief, but also struggling between standing up and like speaking about it and being a witness to trying to stay safe. This book though, it was definitely more serious. It was definitely a big change between like the rom-coms and then this, but there were some like lighthearted moments, and it was some moments were actually funny and cute and wholesome. Literally, we had to do a 2-minute podcast for English class. You want me to talk about a book for 2 minutes? Especially a book I like. Are you kidding? I can't do that. It's gonna be more like 10 or 15. And yeah, I thought that the little flashbacks were good. They weren't too long. Grief was perceived really well. I love how she struggled to stand up for her friend and like, you know, speak publicly and show her face and stuff, because in a lot of stories I think that the main character is like, oh yeah, I would do anything for a friend and whatever, but I like the fact that she was trying to figure out which one to do, you know, and hesitating, because it's not that easy. I thought that was more realistic. It was definitely a very moving story, quite sad but also inspirational. The last book I read was With Love from Lukov. No, from Lukov. With Love from Lukov.
It's almost hurtful to me to watch her be so dumb.
I can never get that name right. This is my first Mariana Zapata book. I actually really like this. I thought that, okay, wait, no, let's talk about this. The only thing, so about these two ice skaters, one is a top of the ranks and like amazing ice skater, really well known, so that's Lukov. And then there's Jasmine, who hasn't competed and who never really won, and who's really like not happy with what she's doing with her life because she hasn't gotten back into competition. But basically she is offered this opportunity to work with him for a year and compete while his other partner is away. And she's like, you know what, yes, except that they hate each other. But guess what? It's also best friend's brother, because her best friend is his sister. So they know each other, they just never really liked each other, and they kind of hate each other. And so, you know, enemies to lovers, best friend's brother, you see what's happening here. So in French they're called périphrase. I don't know what they're called in English. I'm gonna put the translation periphrase. Please tell me it's not. You probably already know this as well, but I'm just gonna explain it. Anyways, it's basically when you describe something without saying the actual thing. So if I was to be like, oh, it's like, let's say if I said the big apple, that would be a periphrase. I still don't know if that's right, because I'm not saying New York, I'm using other words and like something that's in that place or a theme of that place. Like, do you see where I'm going? Instead of saying the actual place. So instead of her being like, my mom, she'd be like, the lady with the red hair, or the lady who gave birth to me. At one point, she was describing Lukov, and she went, the other male in the room. And some of them were like 2 or 3 lines long, and I was like, girl, I get that you don't want to repeat the names, but you could just do that, because I'd be laughing and being like, why are you putting so much effort into this? There was so much cursing in this book. I love that. It made it so much more like adult, and just like I curse a lot as well, so it made it a lot more realistic for me. There was a very deep connection between these two. I liked the couple. I'm not sure. I don't think I loved it, but I think that there was a much deeper connection between them than any other romance novel, like, you know, couple relationship that I've seen. He's so supportive, and oh my god, the scene when her dad's like basically shitting on her whole life and he like stands up for her. Literally marry me. Also when she's sick and he's taking care of her. A ring on my finger, please. I need that. I need it. I want it. It was so cute. All of those scenes. Okay, the nickname Meatball, I was like, it was just funny, but I was kind of like, okay, that's a bit odd, but it's fine, we're gonna get past it. I still thought, even though they had this like another level of emotional connection, I still felt like there was something missing. And I wasn't sure where the love confession was. Like, where was it exactly? Because sometimes I couldn't tell if they're like, oh, I love you, and, you know, as a friend and stuff, because you can say that as a friend, so I was kind of confused. So I thought that was a bit unclear. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about From With Love. I still can't get that name right. That's really sad. I want to take a break from romances. I'm going to read it If We Were Villains. I might read the Inheritance Games. There's also Kafka on the Shore that's on my shelf. And then there's Such a Fun Age, Women After All. I really don't know. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!